So Telltale, Batman, is getting a season 2. It is my least disliked Telltale game.
Wait, can you come again? I think I follow you. No, I don't.
I found it to be the strongest
out of the Telltale.
Yeah,
but it's your least disliked.
Yeah, I mean,
if I made a movie,
yeah,
and you said that is my least disliked movie I've ever seen,
yeah, wouldn't that mean it's my favorite?
I think so.
Yeah. So this is just a glass half empty way to say it's my favorite.
You're a real optimist.
Okay, so it looks cool. Like, it's gonna have Joker and Riddler from what we've seen in the trailer.
Yeah, and we can assume Oswald will be back.
I don't like assuming.
You're right. That's a really jerk thing of me to do.
I don't like that Oswald, though.
I didn't either, to be honest.
He's so annoying.
He's a jerk. Yeah, I didn't like him. I'm really glad. I mean, obviously Troy Baker's back. We saw that. If you watch like the full, there's like a 30-second like little teaser trailer.
Yeah, that doesn't show anything. Really.
No, and then they have like another like 3 minutes of like interviews from the cast and from some of the writers, and stuff like that. Which was a pretty interesting video, and it's already coming out. The first episode is coming out on August 8th already. So that's, I mean, essentially we're looking at 3 weeks away.
Yeah, that's really soon. Is that something you're going to get right away?
Oh, right away. Yeah. I had no idea it was coming out.
We could always play it for the channel, too.
We totally should. Yeah.
My whole thing with the Telltale games is that I see a lot of promise there. I've seen a lot of promise there since I played Season 1 of Walking Dead. But I've always disliked the marketing tactics used for them. How it's like, even in the interviews, they're like, this is your Batman narrative, your personal Batman story. And it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, the first season had more options than like Walking Dead usually does, but it's not really your narrative. It's whatever they want it to be, and that's it. They're trying to pretty up the game design by telling you that it is your narrative. There's ultimately like maybe 2 or 3 decisions that matter, honestly, not many more. The rest of them are kind of like cosmetic, like, oh, I feel good that I did that. Or, oh, I feel bad. And then it has no impact on the game.
Right, and I think there are a few things that it does really well. I mean, and the thing is, too, with the choices and that whole... Because that is a controversy within the Telltale gaming community that I love these games. But it is tough to figure out how many choices they can implement in there, and then how does that move on to another game? I mean, because if you have so many choices, it can almost get convoluted and confusing. I mean, I get it's your own narrative, but I think if they're trying to keep a tight story while also giving you options along the way.
I think I would be okay with the number of choices they have currently if those choices mattered more. I'm not expecting there to be more times where the game stops and it's like, what would you do? You know? But like, when I think of choices like, oh, this is your choice, how does it matter? I think of games... Well, not even games. I think of books like Choose Your Own Adventure books. Where it's like, okay, did you do this? Turn to page 200. This is how this goes. And like, there's very few choices in Telltale that seem to alter the game much at all. And there's reasons for that. You know, like how much time do they put into the development to compensate for one choice? I personally think the big problem is they have too much going on. Like, they have too many games.
That's one thing, too, because, yeah, they also announced that there's going to be one final season of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be Wolf Among Us 2, which I'm excited for both.
Yeah, that's cool.
But, like you said, that's... Not to mention they had Guardians of the Galaxy, they had Borderlands.
And if we look at their games, like, probably about half are super well received, and the other half are like, this was fine. Like, if you look at stuff like their Jurassic Park game that they made, that most people don't know they made, actually... their Back to the Future game that also most people don't know they made, which, surprising how the mediocre ones got less marketing. Interesting how that worked out. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they have had duds. And I don't think the series as a whole is a dud in any way, like their branding. I just wish that they would either follow through on their marketing or stop pushing it that way.
Right, and I think you're right. Like, I would like to see, and actually in this first season of Batman that we got, there was some choices.
There were more.
And more choices than I guess that we're probably accustomed to seeing. And actually in Wolf Among Us, there were some choices where it felt like this person died because I made this choice. Or like, what would have happened if... And I felt like more of that in the Wolf Among Us, because that was a dark, grimy story. So I'm excited what they do with season 2.
And
But
The Walking Dead's the worst. Like, the first season of The Walking Dead is the worst as far as choices go.
Right.
Which is funny because it might be a stronger as far as story goes from the first one.
It's a really good story. Yeah, and season 2 of Batman, I hope that they expand on those choices, but I don't want it to get to a point where they have so many choices that then, like, the story along all these different choices gets messed up.
No, that's why they shouldn't be working on so much at a time.
Right.
I mean, look, I'm not like, Mr. Company Man. Like, it's your company. You can do whatever you want. Like, I don't own Telltale. But in my opinion, I don't think a game company, like a team, should be working on more than maybe 2 games max at once. That's just what I think. Because it usually leads to something getting kind of like, okay, that's low priority. Like, or we can just delay this. It doesn't matter. So, like, out of these 3, Batman, Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, I'm pretty dang sure Wolf Among Us is going to be the one that's, like, not focused on as much because it's the least popular out of those 3.
Well, that's the thing is we don't even know if those are the only 3 games that are working.
No, they're probably working on more because, like, I think last year they had, like, 4 or 5 games actively in development.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, too, though, is these games, typically, each episode is, like, 2, max 3 hours long. Very maximum. Yeah. So you're looking at a complete 5-episode season is about 10 to 14 hours of gameplay, which realistically, when you look in the grand scheme of things, isn't a ton.
And it's not gameplay really.
Right.
Like, and I don't want to like shit on the games. Like, my goal here is not to like be like, oh, what's the bad stuff about Telltale? But it's not really gameplay. It's more like watching as things happen and occasionally making a dialogue decision. So like I feel like the gameplay is there to hold the story together. Usually it's the opposite. Usually story's there to hold a game together. And this is done in a different way, which does make it unique. I'm certainly more glad these exist than don't, because different things in a market are always good. It's nobody wants like every title's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, like that would suck. So it's like, it's great that this exists. I just want it to be better. I want it to be the game that I deserve, not the one that I need right now. And, oh no, I fell and I got a knee injury. I'm going to hide in my house for 7 years. My sort of girlfriend died.
I think I follow.
I'm bringing it back around. Back around to my insults of The Dark Knight Rises.
Brilliantly said.
Thank you. That's what they need. A Dark Knight Rises, choose your own adventure.
Yeah, they do. It'd be great.
Do you wear the mechanical knee brace? Or do you not?
Do you leave, Alfred? Or do you come back?
Dialogue choices, all 4. F you, Alfred. All 4 of them. No matter what you pick.
Listen, it had to be done, okay?
Get out.
I'm not sure what that was, actually.
Too much power for one man.
Was that... What was that?
Want to know why I bought this game? I don't really know where I'm going with this, but anyway, it's not getting edited out because I found it funny.
Okay. That's all that matters.
That is all that matters. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for this. I actually am. It's not like, oh, I don't want to play it. It's more just like I want it to be what I want it to be. I want it to be more interactivity so that I feel like I have a part in the cool stuff going on.
Right.
Because I usually don't actually feel like I have that much of a part. At least Batman Season 1 did a good job of that.
Yeah, and I feel differently about at least a good chunk of them, where I feel like I am making the decisions, and like especially when you look back at the end of an episode and you see like the bar graph or like the graph of you and 14% of other players made this choice, which is really cool.
I'm glad they added that in.
Yeah.
Like I think that's been in since Walking Dead Season 1, but then just been improved upon every time.
And it's really cool, and I feel like I'm making the decisions, and I'm a huge part of the game. For the most part, in a lot of these games, especially in the last Batman, so I
felt the most like that in Batman.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I will give it the credit of that. I felt the most like that out of any of them in Batman Season 1.
Yeah,
was that the player was having an impact. So if it keeps going that way, especially for the rest of the series, I'm genuinely excited because like my whole reservation was always, well, okay, do I break his leg or not? It doesn't matter, like in like a lot of them, or like, oh, what should I say to Clementine? You suck. Or should I say, like, I love you? She'll remember that, but it won't matter. So, like, she doesn't really remember that, you know? So it's like, let's just follow through on these things we're saying that will happen. Then I will be good with this. That's all I want to see. Let's just have some follow through. That's really all. Or maybe change the marketing a little. I don't know. Because I think that my biggest turnoff to a game actually is when I'm looking forward to it. Which is why sometimes, like, if there's a game that I'm like, that looks great, I will actively ignore it till it comes out. It depends, but I will do that. Same with movies. Because, like, when you follow the marketing of something and it comes out and it's the absolute opposite on purpose, like, just to, like, shit on you, that does not make you a happy consumer. At least for me. And I don't mean, like, a plot twist, like, for the betterment of the product. I mean, like, it actively deceived you on purpose.
Yeah, and I don't think that Telltale does that. I think that they genuinely are trying to give you decisions, and I think they are genuinely, like, their goal is to make it feel like you are impacting the story, you're impacting the characters, and one click of the circle button in a dialogue can change things, or, like, if you choose left or right, like, kill or don't kill, it makes a huge impact, and I think that's what they're going for.
I just think that impact needs to be a little more apparent is all I think.
And if they flush that out a little bit more, I think that would be...
I wouldn't feel like this at all, that's
right.
the thing.
And it would appease, people like you who are
feeling
like...
It would appease me.
You would feel appeased.
A gaming god. He must be appeased. Sacrifice to him.
It would be an improvement for me, too. I love the games. But I would enjoy that, too. Yeah, so I think that'd be really cool to see.
I don't think it's that much to ask, either. It's more just like... Alright guys, maybe like, let's like back off on doing 10 projects at a time. Because I would be willing, and I'm not kidding, I'd be willing to add $10 to this price tag if it did everything I wanted it to do. I'd be willing to shell out more money for a deeper Telltale game. Versus less money for what I consider to be not a shallow game, but a not as deep game as it could be. Because if they just added some more development time to these, even like 6 months... I feel like they could do amazing things with their ideas.
Yeah, I think that they have a lot of titles and projects now, and I think that they're handling it well, to be honest, but I think if they laid off a little bit, it might not be a bad thing either.
Yeah, so, I just think it could make it better. Yeah. You know? And we've seen that a lot from artists and, like, music artists, where, like, if they take longer on a CD, it's usually better. We've seen that from games to an extent. Like, when it's, like, 10 years, no, that means there was problems.
Yeah.
But when it's, like, this was supposed to be out in 2 years, guys, we need 6 months to make this better. That's almost always a good thing. I've never seen a case where, like, one delay to make something better was a bad idea. I mean, maybe it still came out and wasn't as good as it could have been, but to me, that just means it still needed more time. Right. I think if you give these guys time... They are so talented, and that's the thing. I don't want to just like crap on them. I do want to give them the praise they deserve. The people who make these games are extremely talented, intelligent people who know what they're doing, and I just think that if they had more time and resources at their disposal, they could make the game they have in their heads, like 100%. And I think what we're seeing is the best possible version they can make of the game in their heads in the time and budget they're given. If you increase both those things, I think it could only go up quality-wise. That's all. So I'm looking forward to this game. I just hope to see more of an impact from all these things. And I hope to see them do what they've been doing over the past couple years, because I think it has been getting progressively better. Just slowly. It hasn't, been a fast road to that. But, I don't know. Wolf Among Us, Batman, and Walking Dead. I'm interested. So anyway, guys, do you like Telltale games? Do you want to tell me a tale? Hit us up in the comments. And we'll see you later. Peace.
Ah!